Good morning, everyone. It's Friday morning and I'm here at Lake Mead, and today I'm going to be working on the boat, standing the mast and putting on my solar panels. I got a little bit of wind today, so I don't think the audio is going to be all that good, but I'm going to try to capture as much of what I'm doing here as I can. Right now I'm putting on these new halyards. I got a red one and this blue one. And the halyards are for lifting the sails, pulling the sails up into place. So that's what I'm doing first. But there's a lot of prep work. I have to, of course, release all of the shrouds that are tied down, and just a lot of things to prepare before I can actually lift the mast. And that's providing the wind isn't blowing too strong, because I don't have any help. I'm doing this all by myself. So, what I just had completed was putting those two new halyards through the top of the mast. There's pulleys inside of there, and so that job is complete. Okay, I'm progressing right along here. I've removed all of the straps and tape that I had, all of the steel cables tied to the shrouds, and you can see they're laying around the deck here. All I got to make sure is that they're all free and not crossing one another, so that when I do lift it, I don't have to let it back down for any reason to untangle anything. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just going around checking everything, making sure that I'm not going to get hung up on anything. And then I got to move the mast forward and put it in that shoe right there on top, bolt it there, and then I'll have to hook up the rest of my lifting apparatus, which will be a while, and then I'll be ready to lift. And I hope the wind just stays nice and calm like it has been for the last little bit. Okay, a little update. I've got the mast connected at the foot, and you can see this apparatus I built back here to support the mast and be able to slide it back so that I could fit it in place. So I'm at a point where I need to put on the gin pole, attach the cable. In fact, it's this cable here to the gin pole, and then my 5-to-1 pulley mechanism that will carry the weight up. So that's where I'm at, and when I get that far, I'll record some more. Hey everyone, little update. I'm pretty much ready to take this mast up in the air. I'm just waiting for a calm moment when there's no wind, no breeze, and I'll pan the camera around so you can see what I've done. That thing there, that aluminum square tubing, is called my gin pole, and it's attached to that 5-to-1 pulley system, and that's what's going to take the weight of this thing. And I've tested it out once before, but I only took it up a few feet in the air. But today it's all the way, and it's scary because I don't know what's going to happen. I have no way to hold this from side to side, the boom. So if it starts going left or right, it could just rip it off of the top of the boat, and I don't want to be in the way of that. So anyways, this is the setup. Got those smaller black guides for the gin pole, and I'm going to check it over one last time, make sure I haven't forgotten anything, that nothing's caught up anywhere, and then I'm going to hoist away. Oh, that was scary. I didn't know how that was going to turn out, but it's pretty fortunate. I haven't got my head staked off yet, which will hold the thing up on its own. I'm a little shy for some reason. I guess my mast needs to go a little bit further forward. Something's preventing it from it. But anyways, that's where I'm at. It's looking good. Otherwise, quite a project, quite a deal. These two white stanchions are part of my solar mount. So now I just have to put these tubings up on top, and then I can mount my solar panels. So if I get this done today, I get stood the mast, and I get these solar panels mounted, I'll feel pretty good about it. There, I've got my horizontal pieces across the top, and the frame is pretty much complete, other than for these parts here. These two brackets are to go here in the corner to help stabilize it side to side, like that. But the problem is, I don't have any juice in my battery, and all I have is my battery operated drill, and that's all I can use out here because I don't have access to power. So I'll have to forego these little things for now and just go ahead and try mounting my solar panels and see if how that'll probably stabilize it some anyways. I finished up with my solar panels other than wiring them, and they come out pretty nice. So once I get those wired up, I'll have 400 watts of solar energy charging up my battery under ideal conditions. But anyways, it's definitely going to go a long ways for keeping me powered up.
Morning, everyone. It's Monday, and this is the day I was going to launch, but I met with an unexpected surprise this morning in that I don't have, or my batteries in my pickup are dead. This is the first occurrence on this trip, and I'm running that 12-volt freezer in the back of my truck, and it's never done this to me before, so I don't know why it did it today. But anyways, there's lots of people out here today on a Monday. I was hoping for less, but and I will get somebody to give me a jump. So that's where I'm at on this launch day. I'm starting out good. Okay, truck is running, thank goodness. I got a jump from a gentleman that just launched his boat, and I'm gonna pull my truck around. I'm going downhill here, and I gotta disconnect the trailer from the truck, and I don't want to do it on this incline. I'm afraid, I mean, anything could happen. It could roll right down into the water from here. What I have going on now is I'm drilling holes through this extended tongue that is going to allow me to get the boat deep enough into the water. You can see here, this tongue goes back all the way about 15 foot of tongue there. And this is the bigger, heavier tongue is the one that is used for towing the trailer down the highway. So rather than trying to switch those while I'm on the ramp and on a steep incline, I'm drill in a hole to allow me to extend the tongue out only so far. They didn't have any allowance for that, so I don't know how they did it, but this is how I have it figured out. So by doing that, I can hook up to this tongue, and then when I get down to the ramp, I will take the weight off of it with a jack and then extend it all the way out. So that's the plan anyways. I hope it works. All right, I'm getting closer to getting ready to go. I've got my motor mounted on the rear. And I just got to finish drilling those holes for that tongue extension, but I'm having to let my battery charge out because
it wasn't that fully charged, so it'll be a bit. Okay, it's working out here finally. I thought I had a bad leak in my boat too. I was taking on water, but I think that was water from some other day. That's why I brought the cart. I got my freezer in there, and there's my boat. So I'm gonna haul that out to the boat and put it on board. And then I'm pretty close to launching, but there's always details. Well, folks, I finally made it. I'm out on the water. I don't know if you can exactly call this sailing. There's hardly any bit of a breeze out here. I do have one mainsail up. And I need to put the jib up if I'm going to get anything at all out of this. But right now I'm just relaxing because this is all new to me, and it was a little bit of a struggle just getting things squared away like that. A while ago, maybe I made mention of this before, when I was at the dock, I got inside and I happened to look in the bilge and there was water in there. I thought, oh my God, this thing is leaking. Well, it turns out, thank God, that it must have been water when I was filling the tanks. I have an overflow line, and that overflow line kept flowing out the top, and I wasn't aware of it when I was putting way too much water in it. And so I probably got 3-4 gallons in the bilge. And so I started sopping it all up after taking buckets out, and it stopped. So I'm good. I don't have a leak, thank God. That would just be one other obstacle. It was quite a chore just getting this out on the water. So, but it's a beautiful day. This is Lake Mead, as you can see. I'm just sort of standing still here in the water. Well, I'll video more later. Right now I think I'll try to put up that jib. Well, since I'm becalmed out here, there's not a bit of wind and it's hot, I thought I'd take you maybe on a little tour of the boat, starting with the main, what they call salon. I'll back up so you can get a better view of it. But up here in the left corner is my pride and joy, my freezer. And this thing has been working wonderfully. I got all kinds of frozen meals here. Some salmon, ice cream. Several of those containers that have different meals in them that I brought with me. I even have some hamburger and hot dogs. And over here, I'm just using this compartment. Well, let me show you once again. Down in here, I have all kinds of gel packs. Darn it. Gel packs that I use for my cooler over here. And that's what I use for my milk and other items that I don't want frozen. And on the port side of the boat, this is set up like a little dinette. This one where I have the cooler is the other seat over here. And then going forward is the V-berth. And under here I have my porta potty, which I have used. Yes, I've used it one time. It was last night. No, it was this morning. I just couldn't hold myself to get to the real John. Anyways, this is where I've been sleeping. And and then we come back in here. We got a sink, a stove under here, 2-burner. I keep some food in this side and some dishes over here and dishes up here. And then here I've got all my pots and pans in that. That's supposed to be a cooler, but I don't use it for that. Underneath the sink, this is what I'm doing with my gray water. I'm draining it into 5-gallon, 6-gallon cans, and then when I go ashore, I'll be able to dump it without dumping it into the lake. What else? Oh, my new battery, my pride and joy, it's under this plywood covering. and it is a lithium iron phosphate, 170 amp hour Renogy, and it's powering this for sure. And I'm not sure. It seems to be pretty efficient energy-wise. And this switch here that's indicated that it's on, that's what I have powering all of my USB and 12-volt outlets. So this cooler right here is plugged into 12-volt there. And I've got an outlet over here that I'm charging my phone. I can charge the laptop, camera gear. So it really works out good in that respect. That's about it. There ain't a lot to this area where the cooler setting was a quarter berth, and somebody else could have slept there. In fact, it's actually wider. This whole underneath area there is wider than the V berth forward, so it's actually more roomy. But I'm using it for storage, all kinds of things, my clothes, the sails, whatever. So. Yeah, that's all there is to this little boat. Talk to you later. I think that's recording. Tune going on there. I've been spending a good part of my time down inside because I think it's a little bit cooler in there than it is out here. Until this thing swings around and I get the shade from the sun panels, then it's pretty nice. But I don't want to have to run the motor all the time, and there's just no wind, no breeze, no way to keep yourself heading in any one direction. It's just sort of pivoting around in this one area right here. I have chores to do. I need to put away some lines. And then I want to see about my tiller pilot. I got this like automatic pilot that attaches to this tiller, and then it attaches to that black thing over there on the croning. I think that's what they call that, croning around there. And then you can just set it to steer for you. And I'm going to have to do that. If I had any wind at all, I definitely want to be doing that. Ooh, I see another sailboat off in the distance. He's got both his sails up, and I have only got my main up. But there's no wind. It isn't helping him any. Yeah. So, I guess I'll do my chores. Whew. Well, the problems continue. Now I have a motor that won't start. I was beached right over there, and it worked out really quite well, but then my back end started drifting before I could get some lines out to stabilize it, and I was afraid it was going to end up in the shallows or get caught up in the rocks. So I tried to back out of there, and when I tried to go to start the motor, it wouldn't start. And so I brought down my sails, and now I got to attend to this motor. I don't know if I can get it started or not. Otherwise, I'm just stranded out here. I mean, there's motorboats, you can hear them, but they're a long ways off, and I don't think I'm going to get any help tonight, and I don't know what's going to happen. If this thing drifts up on the bank or something. So, yeah, great times. Well, I haven't been able to restart the engine, so I'm sort of stuck here and needing rescue. I'll tinker with it tomorrow. I threw out the anchor. I don't know how effective that's going to be, because you're supposed to have so many feet out of road, what they call road anchor line. for the depth of the water, and it's 42 feet here, and I'm only probably 100 feet off of the shore. So I don't know if that's going to hold me. I didn't want to put out too much rode. It'd allow me to get too close to the bank out there. I don't know where I'm going to end up during the night. I just hope the anchor will bite and hold me from going into the rocks. Because I'll spin this around. You can see what it looks like around here. Nice little beach over there. That's where I was going for, and I had it, but the boat started going sideways on me, and I think it really takes two people to beach your boat. One at the helm and one that can jump off the bow and set an anchor out in there. At least so I can keep the boat straight. Well, it's a nice place to spend the evening, but man, I hope I can get rescued tomorrow sometime. I'm going to fix myself something to eat now, so have a good evening. It's 7:54 in the evening on, what is this, Monday? Yes. And here I am. I'm hoping to get through the night, anchored out in a little more of a bay than a cove, but my motor won't start. I can't get it started, so I had to drop anchor here, hoping that it'll hold. I don't know what the bottom is like, and I didn't put out enough scope because I was afraid that too much and I would run up against the steep banked rocky sides of the terrain that's around me here. So needless to say, I don't know if I'm going to sleep very well tonight. I'm just constantly looking out, and luckily there's almost a full moon, so it makes the terrain easier to see, just in case I am getting really close to it. But I seem to be holding my ground. I have been for quite a while, but that could change. A little wind come up or something, enough to drag the anchor. Yeah. Well, I've been up for about an hour, I guess, and lo and behold, I got that motor running, so thank God. It was sort of a stressful night. I was up and down, but I did manage to sleep some, so I'm thankful for that. So now I'm going to weigh anchor and get this thing going first, I guess, to make sure it's going to run before I pull or start again, and then I'll pull anchor and we'll head on back in. Beautiful morning though, as you can see. So let's do this. Let's see what we can get done here. All right, so I'm going to weigh anchor after I start this motor. Hopefully. Okay, I stopped out here in the middle of the lake to prep for docking. So I put out my fenders, and now I have to put out a couple dock lines, one stern and one on the bow. And Dave Lindley's going to meet me there, thank goodness, and I'll just toss him a line and he'll get me tied off. He's, in fact, out this way. If you can see that, I don't know, with this wide-angle lens, there's a RV park and campground there where all the trees are at and all those that white area. And that's where he's at. And I'm going to give him a call now so he can meet me there. And I'm probably about 10 minutes at the most from dock, or yeah, maybe 10, 15 at the most from reaching the dock. So I'm going to get busy. Man, I was freaked out there for a minute or two. I couldn't find my camera. And when I docked the boat, when Dave came down and we docked the boat, I thought perhaps I must have left it inside the cockpit here, and somebody walking by just saw it laying there and took the thing. But I searched all over, and then finally I looked behind the cooler, and there it was. Oh my gosh, and it ain't even so much the camera, because the camera is old. It's a Panasonic GH2 that I've had for years. It's more the footage I've shot over the course of the last few days. It's all been on this camera. So, man, am I happy I found it. And after last night's ordeal, you wouldn't think I'd be back out here on the water with this engine, but I am. I'm giving it a second chance, and it's been starting for me the last couple times. And I really wanted to get out here and do some sailing. So I got both sails up, but there's no wind once again. It was blowing a little bit, and I was making a little bit of progress, but now the water's just calm, and I'm not moving anywhere. So, but it's fun to be out here, and as so long as I keep these these sails right in direct line with the sun, I'm happy. I'm comfortable. I'm in the shade, so it's working out fine. I'm having a good time. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. And on another note, Dave Lindley, who's down here, and he's staying in the RV campground where I stayed when I'd been here a couple times in the past. He is going on a tour of Hoover Dam here shortly, and then we're going to meet up and have dinner together later today, so that should be fun too. Steaks and salmon from Alaska, so looking forward to that. Talk to you later. It's not all fun and games aboard ship. There's chores to be done, like dishes. So I'm boiling up some water, and I'm going to get these dishes done. And I don't know if you can tell if it's going to be so overly bright out there, but there's no wind to work with whatsoever out there, and it's just the doldrums again today. But I'm just out here killing a little bit of time before I go in and have dinner with Dave today. So yeah, I just as soon be out here in the water as sitting around the dock area there. We're doing other things, so this is working out fine. Hey everyone, I just, it was so hot, I mean, like, it feels like it's approaching 100 again today, and I just had to get wet. So I actually, when I bought this boat, it has this ladder that hangs off the back of the boat back here, and I used it, and I wanted to try out that new life vest that Mom had gotten me anyway, so I put that on and I climbed over. Boy, that life vest works good. It keeps me buoyant, keeps me above the water. And then I just played around a little bit out there and cooled down. Ah, man, yeah. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon, so I got a little while longer before I meet up with Dave and we have us a nice little barbecue. So, yeah, nice way to cool down. I was thinking about now maybe I'll get out the drone and see if I can fly it off of here without losing it. Might be a little tough. We'll see. Oh yeah, how do you like my fashionable sunglass retainer here? It's all I could find. I couldn't find anything smaller to tie to these glasses. Just want to keep falling off my face. So anyways, the other day or yesterday when I was really suffering. This is how I cooled off. That's refreshing. Another scorcher today. It's Thursday. No, I correct that. It's Wednesday. And I arrived here, it'll be a week ago tomorrow. And tomorrow is when I'm going to leave. And I'd really come down here to planned on staying 2 weeks minimum and hoping it would be fun and I would get 3 weeks in and then head home. And leave my boat here, in fact, in the storage area just up from the dock. But that didn't work out because I neglected to register my trailer. They won't allow me to keep my trailer there without having a registration. I had a temporary, or a, what do you call that, a road trip permit for 23 days, and it's still good, so I can get the boat back to Oregon. But without that registration, they're not going to allow me to keep the boat here. Anyways, just a lot of different things. Last night I was at the dock and I was tied up there and spending the night, and here comes somebody pounding on the side of the boat. Well, it was the Park Service and telling me I couldn't be there, that was just a convenience facility, that you couldn't tie up any longer than 15 minutes. Well, yeah, so they were good enough to say this is a warning. You can spend the night there, but you need to be out of there today. So I am out on the water, and that's a good reason for it. Was I couldn't stay at the dock, and nor did I want to, but there's no wind again today, so I can't do any sailing. In fact, all I did was prep. I've been out here prepping for the trip home by removing my sails. I removed the boom off the mast, all the halyards, that, you know, the lines that lift the sails, and just a number of different things, rearranging the interior so that I could accommodate all the solar panel mounts gone. If you see, no mount there, the boom is off the mast, no ropes hanging down or halyards, and I've rearranged everything inside. I don't know if you can see inside, it might be underexposed in there, because I've got the exposure set for out here. Anyways, that's where I'm at. And then I get a phone call a bit ago that Dave Lindley, who is down here and has been down here for a couple days, it was experienced what he thought was a wheel bearing going out on his motorhome. So he took it into a shop. He didn't know if he would even be able to do anything with it today. But fortunately, it wasn't a wheel bearing. It happened to be just a tire. And I'm depending on him, too, to help me load this boat. I mean, if he hadn't been here, if he hadn't made this trip, yes, I would have got around to doing it somehow, some way by myself, or asking somebody to help me. But he's here, and yeah, for a while there, I didn't know if we were going to be able to load it today. But he's only a few minutes away, so, or about a half an hour away. And I'm going to see if we can get this boat back on the trailer, and then I'm northbound, back to home. So that's how this trip has gone. A lot of mishaps, miscues, and just a run of bad luck and no wind. But I still feel, on the whole, that I really gained a lot by being out here on this boat in the water, raising sails. I tried to reef a sail, even in calm conditions. Anything that I can do to give me a little bit of experience has to be helpful. So that's what I did. Yeah, just those kind of things. I feel like in docking and working with that motor, which has been sort of giving me fits a number of times, left me stranded that one night. But all in all, I'm just going to chalk this up as a beneficial trip, even though it was 1 week. It'll be 1 week tomorrow. And I spent the 4 days of it, a total on each end, assembling and disassembling. It took quite a while to raise the mast, took quite a while to put up the solar panel mount, and just getting the provisions I needed, in and out of town a few times, all of that. But like I said, I'm not gonna Oh, and I lost my drone. That's the major thing. My drone, I didn't, totally my fault. I didn't understand the operation of it well enough to be flying it out over the water and trying to land, bring it back on a boat, because it has those sensors that warn you if you're approaching an object and it wouldn't allow that drone to come back to me, and I didn't know how to disable that. So anyways, that's what happened. There's another boater, but not a sailboater. A lot of people out here. It's a very much a recreational lake, that's for sure. A lot of fishermen, they come in the dark every morning like 20, 30 of them. They got their fancy bass boats, expensive pickups and expensive boats, and yeah, so they're really into their sport. So I guess I should start motoring back in. Dave is going to rendezvous with me at the dock, and I don't want to be late, so I'm going to cut this off right now. But anyways, yeah, good experience. Talk to you later.